Coming to you guys live with a little bit of the break, with a little bit of tongue twisted. Coming to you guys with a little bit of breaking news, man. So it's official. As of this morning, at least according to the manager, um, it looks like Waste Management did make the purchase of waste resources. So that's good news, man. That's good news. They have a lot of cities, so this is huge news for South Bay. You can imagine that there's going to be a lot of rerouting. There's going to be a lot of moves happening, but it's a good thing. It's a positive thing. It's really official. It really happened. Um, Now, what does this mean for regular drivers? Drivers for Waste Management, you should be excited by this news because basically what this means is that the company is expanding. I said this in a different video about how companies expand. It's pretty much like monopoly. The bigger companies grab smaller companies in order to become bigger. So this is really good news. I mean, we should be amped up about it. Plenty of route opportunities for drivers who kind of in between routes right now. That means a lot, man. That really means a lot. Now, I had somebody that worked over there at Waste Resources, and they didn't have the greatest experience. Keep in mind, there's drivers that work over there who don't get swing pay. They do swing driver work. They do cover driver work, but they don't get swing pay. This is something that was spoken about in the Jose Serrano video. If you guys watched the Jose Serrano interview about how he said back in the day there was no pay difference. So that's why I was saying that for any drivers who follow me in the meeting, that's why I say that's a huge pay difference compared to what they get paid, because I know what they get paid because I just had somebody go over there that I know, and they was telling me how things were over there. That's a huge difference. I mean, drivers are going to get a huge pay difference. But here's the problem. This is something that I think. This is a very, very strict company. This company right now is very strict when it comes to the rules. All right, it's very strict when it comes to the rules, and for many drivers, that is an adjustment. That is an adjustment. You're working for a company that has modern technology. As far as communication, you expect to communicate a certain way. So a lot of drivers are going to have problems with the phone thing. They're not going to be used to having a camera inside the truck, pretty much watching everything you do. Any kind of hand gestures, any kind of movements. You got the Bluetooth in your ear. You talking or anything, and basically you only get one time to mess up, because the second time you mess up, you're going to get canned. You're going to be out of here. So that's going to be a huge adjustment. So if you know somebody from Waste Resources, share with them this video, because I'm gonna leave it up. But we have life critical rules that a lot of these companies weren't used to, these drivers aren't used to. Like, I'm pretty sure you guys see it when you go to the dump. uh, a lot of life critical rules get broken at the dump, and if waste management is in charge, some of that stuff you get fired on the spot, or you get sent home on the spot. On the spot. I mean, what's understood doesn't need to be said, but those life critical rules. Yeah, Waste Resources. Shout out to South Bay Waste. Shout out to South Bay Waste for joining the live. But yeah, it's really real. It's official. Waste Resources has been acquired by Waste Management. So before they wouldn't say anything, I kind of hinted towards it in the trash news segment, but now it's official. Waste resources is now a part of waste management. However, the logistics of things are being worked out. Of course, them being a non-union company, us being a union company, things need to be sorted out. But as I was just saying, those life critical rules, that's going to be an obstacle for a lot of those drivers. And it was even said this morning during the meeting, somebody said, oh, but they earn it. Yeah, but everybody earns it. At the end of the day, if you're putting on a uniform, you're lacing up your steel toe boots, and you're getting out here and you're going after it, you're going after this trash, everybody's earning it. It's just you're earning it the right way. You're earning it with dignity and respect, right? At the end of the day, you want to have dignity and respect of what you do. So those life critical rules is something else, right? Like a lot of those drivers probably don't wear their seatbelts. A lot of those drivers probably don't abide by everything, the rules and everything. When you come to waste management, it is a culture shock because they are pretty strict with the rules. They don't play. They're very serious. So when people say that they work harder, are we talking about breaking the rules to get the job done faster? And that's something that we don't want to do. We want to be safe because we have a responsibility as drivers to not only make sure we get back home safely, that we protect other people that are out in the public, you know? So this is phenomenal news. This is great news. If you guys work for waste resources or you know somebody that works for waste resources, it's official. I mean, these guys already knew. It's already been uh, gossiped about. It's already been talked about. So it's just now official. Um, I wish these guys luck. I mean, I'm gonna try to reach out to a few of these guys, let them know about my channel when I see a few of them. Some of them already worked. Some of them already worked for this company, so they already know the deal. But it's really great news. I wanted to share that with you guys. So we'll look and we'll see what happens. Shout out to the two people that are in here. Let me see. Trying to see. Trying to see something. This is my first time going live. But with that being said, I guess I'll end it now, man. I mean, what else is there to say, right? Man, what do I do? I don't even know how to shut this thing down. Oh, you said, oh yeah, sorry. It says, when do you guys start switching bins? Okay, so I'm gonna answer them one by one. When do you guys start switching bins? I don't think it's more so switching bins. That stuff happens years and years and years down the line. For example, I work for a company called BFI, and when Allied Waste bought them, we were still dumping BFI bins. Same thing when Republic bought Allied Waste, we were still dumping Allied Waste bins. So that the whole bin change stuff, that stuff happens down the line, down the line. Repainting the trunks depends. There's certain contracts, and I don't know. That's the logistics. That's more the operation side as far as repainting trucks. Because it's the same company. Once you buy the company, it's the same umbrella. It's like Jack in the Box, Del Taco, right? You might think you're going to two different companies, but it's the same company. Have you ever been in the ASL route? Yes, I have. I did many years, more years on the ASL route compared to residential at this company. So, yes, plenty of experience doing automated side loader. And as you know, if you guys follow, we had those candy canes. Those candy canes are really, really strong trucks. I used to have the chain truck, but I could do the chains, I could do the candy cane. But the candy cane is the strongest truck in the yard. It can lift a can that's like pretty much halfway filled with wet sand or wet soil. That's how strong those candy canes are. But man, let's see, is that it? Let's see. Could you ask for 1 day with an ASL and do a POV with it? I tell you what I'll do is give it to a driver that does ASL and have them give them the point of view. I know there's a few guys that are online that do it. One guy that works for the city. He works for the city of LA. He's up there in the valley, and he does videos like this. I've been paying attention to some of those videos, and he does the side loader point of view. That's pretty dope. That guy does his thing. Shout out to him. But yeah, I mean, I might go ahead and hand it to one of these guys, and so you guys can see how they do it. Especially in that area. Won't be the city of Torrance for sure, but it'll be. Let's see. So, are y'all gonna put a waste management signboard over waste resources? You might. See, that's operations. Operations is above drivers. So when it comes to things like that, that's up to the company. But you just never know. You never know. Because they own the company. They decide whether they want to slap a sticker on it. But eventually you can expect everything to be branded with waste management. The same thing happened with a company called EnviroServe. EnviroServe was a company that the company looked at, they purchased, and they pretty much slapped waste management logos over EnviroServe. Yes, Back to the Fun. Shout out to Back to the Fun. He gets busy, man. He really shows you what's happening from a side loader perspective. Let's see. Danny is dope, but waste management is better. I guess that all depends on your perspective, on your point of view, right? Like those guys at the city, that's a desirable job by many drivers within the industry. That is a desirable job because they have more benefits, they have more perks to working for the city. So many drivers desire to be in a situation like Back to the Fun. Is my 2023 ACX, I don't know stuff like I don't know the technicalities. I know that it's a auto car. Yes, it is an auto car. So yes, it is an auto car. And something about AMREP, right? So auto car, AMREP, that's what I'm whipping. It's the Cadillac. It's my girl. When I have her, I'm happy. When I don't have her, I'm a little sad. I'm a little perturbed. Okay, so let's see. So our commercial routes are going to be combined West Carson and Carson routes. You can expect operations to re-scramble the routes. You can expect the company from the operation standpoint to re-scramble the routes. Now, initially, things are probably going to be ran, because I'm only speaking because I went through this when I worked in the Valley. I worked in Sun Valley for a different company when Consolidated purchased Allied Waste. So it was like, how are things going to work? So we're all in the Valley. We're like, man, we were kind of like, it's a lot of dynamics at play. Like those workers work a certain way, we work a certain way. So it's like, those are those guys. We don't like those guys, So it's kind of like a little animosity because you don't know, are these guys brown nosers? Are these guys, or these guys don't work hard? These guys are lazy. So it's a lot of that type of stuff going on. But as far as the routes, yes, you can expect the routes to be restructured, reorganized for each driver, right? And they have a certain way that they do things, and the company has a certain way. There's a waste management way. So you can expect waste management being the bigger conglomerate to kind of move chess pieces around. We want this guy. We want to have that guy. We're going to have our person that does routes. They're going to restructure the routes this way. You're going to get this many stops. This driver's going to get that many stops. So it's going to be reorganized, restructured, and things are going to, it's anytime when you merge. This is what a lot of drivers at my yard don't understand, especially the newer drivers. This is huge. This is great news. This is phenomenal. When you get in a situation where you merge with another company or you purchase a smaller company, more opportunities, right? That means you can, you guys are going to get different footage. You're not going to be seeing the same stops. You're going to see more stops. Any other stops that are in the surrounding area, I'll be able to pick those up. All right, so it says, all right, so he says, how will that work? Like I says, operations, they control, I'm pretty sure when they're looking at it, when Waste Management is looking at a company like Waste Resources, what they're doing is saying, what do they have? So they have Carson, right? They have Gardena. They have, I believe, Linwood. They have Glendale, right? So they're looking at these areas and they're saying, Glendale, that can go to Sun Valley. That's going to go to the Sun Valley yard. We got that covered. Compton, you guys are going to get Linwood. Long Beach, you guys are going to get Gardena. This yard is going to get this. They're looking at them and they're saying, how can we use this? How can we, right now? You already have a transfer station in the city of Carson, right? For many years you had the city of Carson, and Waste Resources, they snatched Carson up. So now it's like, if we get Carson back, we kind of already had the dump situation. You got Porsche right there. Porsche has a problem with the dump. They don't really like the dump being there. They have this Porsche experience thing going on. So it's like, So the company's just looking at it like, this is an acquisition for us to kind of, this is helping us grow. This is helping us expand. Because for many years, we were in a situation where we almost lost cities and we lost stuff. One of the yards lost the city of, what city was that? Southgate. We had Southgate. We lost it. Right? That's a hit. That's something that's like, right? Throughout the years, you want to expand. You want to show that you've grown, that you expand. And it's a lot of these smaller companies that are snatching up. You look at, Universal Waste, UWS? They got some stuff, right? They got some stuff over there by like El Camino College. So bigger companies, in order to kind of expand, they have to go after these small to mid companies. All right, so let's see. With the normal drivers, keep their route. The company at any time, because it's operations, they can decide whether your route stays the way it is, or they can say, you know what, we're rerouting everything. So the route that I have may not be constituted the way it will be once they get the acquisitions together, they get the team. Okay, this is the area, this is the extra stops. How will we implement this into this route? How will we implement this into that route? So the operations are more in charge of that. And you probably will keep your route, but your route will not be how it is today. It might be a little bit change. So yeah, but no. Yes, drivers will keep their routes, but their routes won't be how they are. There will be a lot of stops added. There will be a lot of stops removed. You're going to go from this area to this section, as you heard in the Jose Serrano interview, how he initially had a route way out in he had a route in Long Beach, but they kept moving him towards the South Bay. So anytime you're dealing with the companies, especially operation, they can choose how your route is going to be structured. Let's see. They're working, but on the mirror. Yeah. I the thing is with those trucks are the Peterbilts are a strong truck, right? But the problem with the Peterbilts is that, like, as personally as a driver, it's a spare truck, so it's not taken care of. It's not like um, we have things like a hopper cab, or like a hopper camera. You don't. There's no hopper camera in those Peterbilts. A lot of those Peterbilts don't have hopper cameras. If you got one that has a hopper camera, great. But if you're getting into a vehicle or you're getting into a truck and you're trying to dump something, you don't see something, you bring a can down and half of the stuff was in there. Now you got a bunch of stuff on the top of your cab. I mean, on the roof and on the canopy. So uh, it's issues with the trucks as far as like the operation. You know, they don't really want to fix the trucks the way they would a truck that's newer. So I had an issue with the outside packer. I'm like, dude, could you please do something with the outside packer button, because otherwise I have to climb in and press the button from the inside. It's a mess, man. So we have our personal reasons, you know, what our personal trucks will be like. It's no difference if you like a Lexus or you like an Acura or you like a Tesla or whatever, right? So we all have our preferences. I live between West Carson side. My driver one's my side, so I was figuring Carlos would be my new driver. Y'all gonna love these W2s. All of them have hopper cameras. So yeah, you know, a lot of guys are looking at the roll off, you know, because roll off is another thing. Roll off containers, those are good routes. So you see those big, huge orange containers. The guys that do roll off, they're like, yeah, that's good, because you know they can this roll off routes. It's commercial. It's everything. It's the entire thing. So it's a good thing. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. I don't know what, as far as the trucks that they have at Waste Resources. I don't know nothing about those. Right? That's completely new to me. So we'll see. But yeah, it's official, guys. It's official. It's official. Carlos, I don't know who Carlos is. It's like a zillion Carloses in the trash industry. But if he's your guy before, he's probably still gonna be your guy. It's just his thing goes from an orange uniform to a lime green uniform. That's the only thing to change. He's probably gonna keep his route. He's probably gonna do the same thing, because you don't want to disrupt what's already working. So Carlos just goes from an orange uniform to a lime green one. That's the only difference. So man, dude, this has been a pretty good live, man. You know, I wasn't expecting it to go so well. I appreciate you guys jumping in. Shout out to South Bay Waste. Shout out to Trash Master 18. Who else was in here? South Bay Waste and Trash Master 18. I appreciate you guys joining the live. I see you guys hit that like button. That's you say he's with Waste Management. We got a million of those. We got a million Carloses. You say Carlos is like what? Like which one? You have to be specific with a last name. Sometimes we got the same Carlos with the same last name. It's like, oh man. So then you go into describing and stuff like that. But I am going to get back to work. It was a great live. If you guys, if you can, if you haven't already done so, if you're watching this afterwards, hit that like button, comment what you guys think. This is pretty huge news in the industry. This is huge news for the yard. This is great news. I want to thank you guys, and I'm out, man. Peace. Bow, 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 bow.